Welcome to Judge Me Not, a safe place to have real conversations with real ass people. Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you guys for tuning in to the second season, first episode of the Judge Me Not podcast. I'm your pretty cool host, EnviiDee. At least I think so myself. What the fuck is up? Happy New Year's. Nigga, we made it. You know my opinion. If you have time to listen to a podcast and shit, life ain't that bad. I appreciate y'all for fucking with me, like, for real. Even when I did my little hiatus, like, fuck this shit, this too much pressure, I don't know why I did this shit, y'all was still listening to me and introducing me to other people to listen to me. The feedback has been so tingly inside. But no, let's go ahead and jump into it. So my most popular episode, or episodes, might I say, has been the loner mentality. And the conversations and the feedback that I've had over this topic has been a little bit concerning, because so many of us can relate. So that means we're out here a part of the world, but not really a part of the world, if that makes sense. But it was really good, and I've had some really interesting conversations and received some really interesting feedback on this topic. I wasn't going to spin the block on this conversation, but literally every other day since I've published those episodes, somebody has been DMing me, texting me in regards to this topic. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I ain't gonna lie. I've been trying to record this episode for months, and it just has not been working for me at all. So I'm like, fuck it, maybe it's not time, because if it don't make sense, then I'm not gonna do it. But me being the geek that I am always reading. I read something last night, and it was a confirmation to me that the conversation needs to be continued. Until we don't need to have this conversation, because it is crucial that we acknowledge how one develops the loner mentality and why it is so important for us to break this mentality, to not pass this on to our children or to our tribe, because it does keep us divided, and humans are not put on earth to be alone. So, pause. If you have not listened to part 1 and part 2 of the loner mentality, I advise you to do that, or you just gonna be like, what the fuck is up, right? So, episode 1, we talked about how one develops the loner mentality. Basically, you were introduced to trauma situations very early on in life. You did not get the healthy aspects within your home as you should have in a quote unquote politically correct upbringing. So by the time you are an adult or out in the world on your own, you've experienced a lot of situations most children, teenagers, adolescents wouldn't have to experience, and in return you've had to do so in trial and error, right? So over time you build coping mechanisms of how to move through life, how to think, how to logicalize, how to react, as a coping mechanism, as a safe mechanism to protect yourself, to survive, really, physically, mentally. And it just becomes who you are, right? Part 2, I very briefly went into why we have to unlearn this so we don't project this idea on our children, and we don't hinder ourselves from our blessings, business-wise, emotionally, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't block our own blessings or clip our own wings because we refuse to let go of this mentality, right? And I'm speaking on personal, and I'm still working on it. So I'm not going to be on here like, oh, this shit is easy. It is what it is. Every day is a battle. Every day is a choice. But I'm acknowledging it, and I'm so glad I did do the episode because it feels good that I'm not by myself, right? So anyways, my nerdy ass, I read every night. I try to read one chapter or something from somewhere. So I got this book by Yana Van Zant. I feel like I'm the hood of Yana Van Zant. Give me a few years. Bitch, you gonna see my brand blowing up. So again, I appreciate y'all for fucking with me when my brand is in its premature stages. Because when I blow up. No, but focus. Look. So anyways, so basically, this was an affirmation, a confirmation that I needed to continue this conversation. Because if so many of us can relate to the episode about being a loner and having this loner mentality, then that means there's a lot of us in the world guarded like a motherfucker. Like, in relationships, raising kids, in businesses, having partnerships, but really not being 100% connected with people. Because you got to protect yourself, or you feel like you have to protect yourself, so you can't really be all in. And that's really not good. And that's really unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is. And I want more for myself, and I want more for my people. But it comes from trauma. So it's a journey. But anyways, Ayana was like, a strong man masters others. A truly wise man masters themselves. There are so many scars inside Black people. It is incredible that we survive. Scars from childhood, scars from dreams deferred, scars from words, incidents, or judgments passed by others. We cover our scars with personalities, habits, and sometimes sex, drugs, and alcohol. We take our wounded soul into the world and pretend that we are not hurt. Yet every time we are confronted with a similar event that causes our old scars to be reopened, it's a trigger. There can be no healing in our external world until we give intensive care and healing to our internal wounds. We may think we do not know what to do, but we do. We must first admit that our wounds exist. We must be willing to examine them, touch them, and expose them to ourselves. Then we must wrap them in the most potent antiseptic there is, love. Today I will nurture my wounds with love's light. Baby, that's a word for your ass. That's a word for your ass. That literally is a poetic way of me saying what I was trying to say in episode 1 and 2. But what's even more crazy, and I really, really, really hope you are listening to this, because I don't know how to get in contact with you. But there was an individual that reached out to me, and he was like, I got some feedback. I found your podcast, and it was really good, but I have some feedback on the loner mentality. And he was like, how? And I'm like, how what? He was like, how do you expect for people to break away from the loner mentality? And I'm like, I don't understand. He was like, listen. So he goes on and say, how can you expect people who've already experienced the worst of life early on to have naive hope at the goodness that life that has to offer? Blew my mind, right? But he goes on. Then he says, how am I supposed to unlearn everything that you admitted I had to learn in order to survive? Blew my mind, because this is a question that I struggle with every day. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to unlearn so much in order for my children to not experience the same things that I did, when I really ain't got no blueprint? But I do. And I try. I'm not perfect, but I'm figuring it out. And I'm constantly being introduced to people that can guide me on this journey. And in return, I open my mouth and I spread what the fuck I done learned or what I'm going through to try to help somebody else so they don't have to be by themselves asking the same question. How the fuck am I supposed to do this? Like, what the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? It is frustrating. After having the debate, I basically had to say, like I tell y'all, bro, I'm not no psychiatrist. I'm not licensed. I can't tell you how to live your life. I'm just on here shooting the shit. It's a choice. It's a choice. People that have a loner mentality, it was developed due to trauma. It was developed due to disappointment. It was developed due to fucked up circumstances. It was developed to a lack of positive reinforcement, emotion, environment. It was developed because of a lack of positivity, basically. So we become adults that have to survive and that have had years of surviving. That is all we know. So we find comfort in chaotic situations, in chaotic environments, in chaotic relationships. It's comfortable to us because that's all we know. But the truth be told, most people that have the loner mentality, they just want to be seen. They just want to be seen for who they are. They want to be respected for who they are and understand that they are the way they are because of what they had to go through. But they want to be met with no ill intent. Treat me how I treat you. I ain't gonna lie to you, don't lie to me. I'm gonna be loyal to you, be loyal to me. If you're not gonna fuck with me, move the fuck around. It's just that simple to somebody who possesses the loner mentality. So that's why we find comfort in moving by ourselves. We're not fucked up if you fuck with us or if you don't. We already did this shit by ourselves. We got this. But it feels good when you can have a genuine connection with somebody who means you no ill intent, and you can pour into them and they can pour into you. Now, although those encounters come very few and in between, when they do happen, it's refreshing. And people who have loner mentalities are some of the most loyal motherfuckers that there is. Because they know what it's like. So if you rocking with them, they gonna rock with you till the motherfucking wheels fall off, right? So that means they just want to be seen. And a lot of people with the loner mentality, when they do open up and search for something, they get disappointed, they get hurt, they get betrayed, they get let down. And for those type of people, it's like, this is why I am the way I am. It's a reassurance that I don't need to change. For what? But what I am learning and what I had to tell the individual is the how is easy. It's not easy. Let me take that back. The how is not easy. But it's simple. You got to turn the energy within. Period. Loner mentality was something that we gravitated to ourselves over time in order to survive. We said that. But there is a point in life when you can choose to be done surviving. To where you want to be in an environment and around people that are living life, not surviving. They living life. Of course, the complexities of life and fucked up situations are still going to come, but just think about it. Bruh, think about all the bullshit you done overcame and you still here. Because you know how to survive. It comes natural to you. You thrive in chaos. You going to make some shit shake. Imagine how unstoppable you could be if you were in an environment that you didn't have to survive. If you had a support system of people that genuinely fucked with you. That you didn't have to think 2 steps ahead to make sure they're not trying to fuck over you. You'll be unstoppable. And believe it or not, that do exist. It does exist. And it's just figuring out how much am I going to continue to endure? How many cycles am I going to continue to find myself in until I'm just like, bro, I'm sick of this shit. I don't want to do this no more. I know there's more to life. I don't want to move through life like this no more. Once you get to that point, you ain't got no choice but to make some changes. Figuring some shit out. Why am I like this? Why aren't I comfortable building relationships with people? Why do I look at the negative before even thinking about the positive outcomes? Why am I like this? Trauma. My biggest habit that I still struggle with, but I'm in therapy, is trying to downplay the trauma that I've experienced. Majority of the people that I'm around have PTSD, and they don't even know it. And they will belittle their traumatic life experiences that they have survived. That's where it starts. One, really taking the time to acknowledge that what you experienced is not normal. It's not okay. You survived it because you a tough motherfucker, and there's so much more to life that you have to achieve and experience, but it wasn't okay, and it's not normal. So once you start to really like pull back the layers of why you are the way you are and what you've had to endure to become who you are now, ooh, baby, that is a door that a lot of people choose not to open, because it will have you ready to slap a motherfucker upside their head, find people from your past, and be like, bitch, you had me all the way fucked up. And I just wanted to tell you that today, 5 years later, you had me fucked up by letting me experience this, and this is how it'll have you going down a rabbit hole. But you don't do it for other people. You do it for yourself. You do it for your future. You do it because you want a peace of mind. You do it because you want to have that multi-million-dollar business. You do it because you want to be there for your kids in a manner that your parents wasn't able to be for you. That's why you heal. Healing has to become the beginning point of becoming the better version of yourself. Once you become the better version of yourself, you will find yourself in new environments. You will find yourself around new people. A lot of people who carry the loner mentality really just ache for love. Genuine love. To be seen, to be heard, to be valued, to be appreciated, to experience all the positive things that they did not experience early on. And that's okay. And there's motherfuckers out here that will give that to you. And you don't even have to be in a relationship with you. Just genuinely good people that will guide you through this journey called life. And that will introduce you to other people that also have no ill intent. So the how starts from figuring out, why the fuck am I like this? How can I outgrow my trauma so I no longer carry that survival mentality to where I'm going? Because I don't want to survive no more. I want to live. Fuck that. Bitch, I want to live. Right? It's exhausting to try to have to be 2 steps ahead of everybody. It's exhausting. And that's not a peace of mind. I tell people all the time, baby, I promise you, once you experience peace of mind, ain't no going back. I get on people's nerves. I will block you in a motherfucking heartbeat if you are disturbing my motherfucking peace. I don't care if you my mama or if you my baby daddy. I don't care if you my boss. Bitch, I will leave this job and find somewhere else if it is costing me my peace of mind. But a lot of people don't know what a peace of mind is. And that's sad. And I feel like that's why a lot of people gravitate to me. Because I exude peace. I exude comfort. But I also see people for who they are. And I don't pass judgment. I'm going to meet you where you are. I'm going to give you transparency, and I expect that in return. Do I get fucked over? Yeah, I get fucked over. I do. People try me all the fucking time. But to the extent that I allow them to. And then you got to move the fuck around, and I will dip the fuck off because I have to protect my peace of mind. But I'm working on that, y'all. I am. But again, breaking that loner mentality is hard as fuck. So the how comes from looking within, licking your own wounds, because we already know ain't nobody gonna come to do it. It's easy as fuck to stay in chaos and continue to do the shit that we've done. It's hard to be different. It is hard to be different. But if you want different, you gotta be different. You have to love on yourself and allow people to love on you. And that's a hard thing to do for somebody who has a loner mentality. It just is. But it's okay. Let somebody love on your ass. Let somebody in. And when I say like love on you, again, I'm not talking about it in the sense of a relationship as a boyfriend, girlfriend, a husband and a wife. Relationships in general, encounters with people. It's okay to let genuine people in, but you have to get to a point to where you can discern who's genuine and who's not. So you can be in one way or click and let your guard down and be comfortable with receiving knowledge and giving knowledge and having a conversation and exposing some truth and receiving some truth. You can't grow if you don't put yourself out there. Again, think about the fucked up situations you've been in and they didn't break you. You figured it out. So if you are in an environment that you are not being pulled, prodded, you're not being in survival mode, imagine how amazing you could be. Imagine the relationships that you can have. Imagine the goals that you can meet. But you gotta get there. And you not gonna get there if you still have this fucked up mind frame that everybody out to get me, or they probably gonna fuck me over, so I don't even want to do the effort. You clipping your wings and you ain't gonna never fly. It's just not. I be having this conversation with myself every fucking day. Right? So the problem is, like, we find comfort in being closed off from the world, and when we do allow somebody in, we have these unrealistic expectations of, I need you to be this for me, or you need to move the fuck around. And that's not really the best way to go about life. Because everybody don't operate on it. But once you really figure out who you are and why you are the way you are, figure out who you want to be, and old habits, environments, relationships that no longer serve you no purpose for where you're trying to go, and let that shit go, let those people go, let those habits go, then you ain't got no motherfucking choice but have this large empty space to form new habits, new relationships, new thoughts. The unknown is always scary, but again, think about what the fuck you've been doing, what you've been going through. If the unknown towards a less stressful environment is an option, it's a piece of cake. You can conquer that. You just got to make the choice to do it. So I feel like, old people like, when you sick and tired, you sick and tired. Ain't no going back once you sick and tired. Ain't no going back. Once you become sure, like, that you're done with a certain lifestyle, a certain environment, a certain mind frame, like you're done with it. Once you are sure of that and you stand on that shit, like you stand on every other principle that you've developed over time, it's really not no going back. Then you, again, start figuring shit out. Trial and error. Just like we figured out life, trial and error, so on survival mode, it can be done. You can figure out how to live life in a healthy manner Trial and fucking error. As long as you making steps towards the difference. Everybody around you, trust me, baby, it's not going to like that. You're going to be moving different. You're going to be acting brand new to them. It's going to be a lot of people. That's how you're going to know when you're on the right track. Once you start moving towards becoming the best person that you want to be, motherfuckers going to try you. Motherfuckers going to do everything in their power to get you to stay exactly where you at. Them is the first motherfuckers you need to move around from. Once you start like not coming around certain bullshit, not answer certain calls, and the person go out their way to put you in certain situations or environments, those are the motherfuckers you need to let go. They ain't got nothing to offer but chaos. They ain't got nothing to offer. Let them go. And open up space for more positive situations and more positive people. So, that's the how. Love. Love yourself. Lick your own wounds. Figure out your trauma. Forgive. Like, take a hard look at the things that you had to go through that shaped you into who you are today. And if where you are in your life, you no longer need that, let that shit go. If you not in a place in life that you don't have to survive and you still got to move 2 steps ahead in order to stay safe mentally, physically, financially, and you tired of it, and you listening to this podcast, this is a sign from the universe. Every step towards becoming a better person is a good step. And I want that for everybody. And the moment you start loving on you, and you start putting you first, and you start taking care of yourself, and you start looking at, why you this type of way, and trying to figure out how can you unlearn that to become different, to become better, the universe will reward you. I swear to God. And you'll start meeting people and be like, oh, fuck. I needed to have this conversation. I needed that knowledge. I needed to be introduced to this person, and it started making this shit shape. The universe will reward you with amazing encounters and amazing knowledge and amazing people that'll let you know you on the right path. And then it become addictive. And that's what I'm saying. Like, once you get that peace of mind and you start being surrounded by people that genuinely fuck with you, it is easy to let old shit go. I ain't got to do that no more. I'm gonna be honest. I'm at the point in my life that I can have a conversation with a motherfucker, and I'm not gonna judge you. But if all we talking about is problems, and you ain't got no solutions, and every time we talk is problems, I don't even want to talk to you no more, because you don't serve me any good. And all my relationships have to be a give and take. You pour into me, I pour into you. Or you serving me no good, because I'm at a place in my life that I no longer want to have to survive. I don't want to have to get back to that mentality. I don't want to have those type of conversations. I don't want to have the type of worry. I don't want to have to look over my shoulder and worry if this person is going to be okay because they are in a war zone. I don't want to do that no more. And if that's what you choose to do, it's no judgment. But this is where our paths separate. So again, to recap, we know how we developed our loner mentality. We understand how we got here. We talked about why it's important in episode 2 to kind of step away from that mind frame so we won't block our own blessings and clip our own wings before we even fly. Episode 3, I'm telling you how to start the process, how to get the ball moving. Internally, love on you. You want loyalty? Be loyal to yourself. Set a goal. Meet that goal. You want love? Love on yourself. You want honesty? Be honest with yourself. You attract what you are and where you are. The kinder you are to yourself, the kinder people you're going to meet. The more genuine you are with yourself, you're going to meet genuine people. Slowly but surely, you're not going to have a need to move the way you've been moving, to think the way you've been thinking, because you're going to find yourself in a completely different environment. Hey guys, if y'all want to keep up with me, you can follow me on social media platforms. I'm on Twitter at JudgeMeNot. Also on Instagram at judge_me_not. Me is spelled MII. Or you can follow me at EnviiDee, EnviiDee.